You might be curious about how far an electric vehicle can travel on one charge. Well, this is the E+ 62 kilowatt Nissan Leaf. It's a game changer, but not yet available in Australia. But let's see how far this little EV can go on a real-world range test on the highway. Welcome to EV for me. Before we departed, we topped up Yuki, the 62 kilowatt Nissan Leaf, with a charge, and we got a range of 399 kilometers on the GOM, or the Guessometer. And for the people who are fans of Leaf Spy, and we'll cover that in another video, we have onboard 57.7 kilowatts, which is the normal amount usable on a 62 kilowatt Nissan Leaf, and we also have a state of charge of 98%. Our battery also has a state of health of 97.29%, which is pretty good for a Nissan Leaf that's 18 months old. We're rolling at the moment. We're on our way down to Nimmitabel, and that's about 160 kilometres south of Canberra. So you travel to Cooma and then you go a little bit further south, and they'll make a round trip of 320, 330 k's. So it'll test the real world range of the Nissan Leaf, the 62 kilowatt. Kaz, have you ever been to Nimmitabel before?
Don't think so. Might have gone through it, but can't remember.
Yeah, I think Nimmitabel is like a small little hamlet or village. Not many people live there. But yeah, we'll check it out in about 2 hours' time. We've just covered a quarter of the trip. We've got Ali the dog with us as well today, and she's keen to get outside for a little bit of a walk. But so far we've travelled, we've travelled 86 k's or kilometres, and it's saying we have a range of 290 kilometres left, and it says we've got about 76% charge. So we're well on track. We've been using ProPilot all the way down, so let the computer do the driving. We turned off steering assist. We're not that lazy. We can steer our own bloody car. But yeah, everything's going pretty well so far. So we're just going to take Ali out for a wee walk, just relieve herself, and then we'll just continue on. So you're probably asking what sort of conditions we're driving in today. So it's nice and warm and sunny. It's about 14 or 15 degrees Celsius outside at the moment. And we haven't really got the air conditioning running at all. We've just got the fan running on setting number 3. So we've just got fresh air coming in from the outside to the in. And we've got our headlights set for automatic, but obviously the headlights are turned off because we're in the daytime. There's no seat heaters we're using at the moment or anything like that. Everything it's pretty much a quiescent condition. Everything's just nice. It's perfect in here, isn't it, hon?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, so we're not using any extra power for heating or air conditioning or anything of that at the moment, and that's what preserves your battery at the end of the day. If it was a hot summer day, we'd be using a lot more power, just trying to keep the car cool. Or conversely, if it was a cold winter's day, we'd be using the heating system just to keep everyone nice, warm and happy. So so everything's just all balmy at the moment. Ali the dog is happy down the back. And that's all that counts. Welcome to the lovely township of Nimmitabel, population 320. We stopped at the Federal Hotel and had a quick break before we turned back. We met Kel the publican, and we grabbed 2 Mars bars and a Coke, and we were on our way back home. We have travelled 170 k's to get to Nimmitabel, but we only have 164 kilometers range. So have we gone too far? Have we gone past the point of no return? And what makes it worse is we'll be using our headlights part of the way home, so that will drain the battery even further. We've just finished at Nimmitabel and we've got about 133 kilometres till we get home to Canberra, and Yuki in the NISSAN LEAF is giving us about 150k range, so it's going to be cutting it very close. But we'll see how we go. Do you think we'll get home, Kaz?
It's going to be cutting it fine, but let's hope.
Yeah, but that's what range testing is all about. You push the car to its limits, then you know for sure how far it can travel. So we'll give you an update down the road.
Let's hope we get home.
Okay, we're on the outskirts of Canberra and we're literally running on vapours, if you're referring to ICE vehicles. We've got about 48 kilometres range left on the gasometer, and we've got about 30 kilometres to travel. We're down to about 11%, and we've travelled about, over 300 kilometres. And we've got that 18 difference at the moment. Do you want to risk it and try and punch home, hun? Give it a crack?
Up to you. Driver's call.
Yeah, let's give it a go. If we fail, it'll make a good YouTube video. So we're about a little bit over 6 kilometres from home at the moment, and when your range gets down to about 25 kilometres, it starts blinking and puts up a range warning. So we are literally running this down to nearly nothing. So we'll see how we go. We've only got one more big hill to go up. If we run out of energy, at least we'll be within
We can walk home.
We can walk home, yes. So, but, this is something, when you go into car dealerships and you ask them the range of an electric vehicle, and they'll quote the WTLP or the EPA figures of 370 kilometres or 385 kilometres and things of that nature. But that's fantasy land. Really, it all depends on conditions. It's not the real world figure. And if you go into a dealership and you buy a NISSAN LEAF, an E+, and you're expecting to have that 370, 385 kilometers, and sure, the battery on this is slightly degraded by about 3%, but we've traveled, I suppose, 336 kilometers, but we haven't really used any air conditioning or anything like that. But if you bought, an E+ LEAF straight out of the dealership and you expected to do 370 Ks with your family and a little bit of luggage and maybe using the aircon,
You're dreaming.
And that's the thing that really pisses me off. You've got to have real world figures on this. So anyway, we'll continue on and we'll see if we get home. Here we go. Move it right up. Yay!
Yay!
We're home. Hey, high five.
We did it!
So we've made it home. 21 kilometres left in range. It's at 4%. So we were literally on, pretty low. You couldn't get any lower than that. Okay, it's the next day and we'll chat about the results from yesterday. So yesterday we travelled 343.2 kilometres and we've gone from 100% down to 4%. What do you think of that, Kaz?
We pushed the limit.
Yeah, so it's pretty good for an EV, a long range EV, to get over 300 kilometres.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, so we're happy with that. That's pretty good in our books. So for those of you who want to know consumption stats, that is 6.5 kilometres per kilowatt hour, or it's 0.153 kilowatts per kilometre. so you can, work out those stats for yourself.
For the tech heads.
Yeah, for the tech heads and people who like using leaf spines and stuff like that. Something a lot of people forget about is the range. It's not the range when you buy it on the first day in the showroom. It's the range, 18 months later or 5 years later or even that 8 years later, if the EV will still suit your needs when the range has degraded over time. And that's what you've got to remember. And that's the important thing about when you actually purchase an EV, how long you're going to have it for, and whether at the end of its life you're still going to have the range to make it practical for your daily uses. So personally, I wouldn't drop the battery below 10% on any electric vehicle. Once you hit that 10% mark, you should be very close to a charging station. So really, with this Nissan Leaf E Plus 62 kilowatt, around the 10% mark, it had travelled roughly 320 kilometres. So I think that'd be a nice, safe range value. What do you think of that? 320?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Yeah, that sounds like a more rounded figure. If you're in cold weather or a lot colder conditions, I would probably drop that range to, 280 kilometres on those -8 days when the battery chemistry isn't so active. And, range after that 5 to 8 years, when your state of health of the battery has dropped to 80%, I would say your range would drop down to, around that 250 kilometre range limit, and that'd be a more realistic value for the 62 kilowatt E Plus Leaf for its life term.
What about the hot days?
The hot days, you'd be looking around, the 280 kilometre limit as well. If the battery gets a little bit too hot, maybe you're using the air conditioning as well. So they're the numbers. You're looking at 320 for a mild day, 280 for a day where it's pretty cold or it's pretty hot and you've got to use the air conditioning. And after 5 to 8 years, you'll be looking at around 250 kilometres with the battery degraded to 80%. Our next video will be a range test around the city, so check that out in the description down below when it's released.
If you're interested in a 62 kilowatt E Plus Nissan Leaf, ask a Nissan dealer when they're being released in Australia.
As you might have guessed, we have imported this Nissan Leaf 62 kilowatt E Plus from Japan because we couldn't buy it in Australia. For more details on how to import your own EV from Japan, check out the other videos on this channel.
If you've never driven an EV before, check out our videos at the beginning of the channel.
If you want to follow our adventures, go to our Twitter page, EV4Me2. Check that out. Leave your comments down below. Subscribe and hit the bell if you want to know when a new vlog is coming out. And we will see you next time.